Hello, welcome to Jen Joy Crafts. In this video, I'll be making a glitter tree and a yarn tree. The items you will need are 2 styrofoam cones, some glitter, some paint, a mini Christmas tree topper, I chose a star, and some yarn. All right, let's get started. The first thing I did was I took a cake pop stick to put at the base of the cone so that it was going to be easier to work with the paint and the glitter. So right now I am putting on a generous coat of paint, and I'm going to do this all around the cone as well as the top of the cone. The paint color that I chose to use is called Spa Blue, and I just love this color. And again, I'm going back and forth and I'm putting a generous amount of this paint all around it. And then we're going to add our glitter to the paint. Now, these styrofoam cones I did pick up at the Dollar Tree, and they are around 7 inches in height. Okay, so I have the cone completely covered in the paint. Now I'm going to start shaking on the glitter on the cone, and I'm going to end up pressing the glitter into the wet paint. And I'm going to do this all around the cone and also on the top of the cone as well. And you can see I am wearing a glove because this does get messy. And the color of the glitter that I am using in this project is called Ice Blue, and I got it from Hobby Lobby. The one thing that I would have done different with the glitter is I would have gotten a finer glitter. I think that would have worked better with pressing the glitter into the wet paint. This glitter did work just fine, but I think a extra fine glitter would have been even better for this project. And as you can see, I'm catching the glitter into this just aluminum little loaf pan. I'm obviously making a huge mess, as you can see, but the glitter in the aluminum pan, I am going to actually save because there's nothing wrong with it. It just, didn't make it on the cone. After I was done putting the glitter on, I gave it a few quick taps on the loaf pan, and now I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. And what I did is I stuck the cake pop stick into a piece of styrofoam so that it would be straight up. To put my glitter back into the container, I put a rolled up piece of paper into the container and then just put the extra glitter back into the container. And really the container looked like it was full after I was finished doing that. And then I just wanted to show you guys my little mini vacuum that I just love. It works so good to clean up little pieces of glitter. Okay, so now that the paint is all dry, I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and I'm using Mod Podge gloss. I didn't want to use matte because I was worried that it might dull the shine of the glitter. And so this is going to help seal the glitter onto the cone. And I'm going to put a good bit onto the cone, and you can see that I'm patting it down to the bottom, and I'm going to kind of do it in rows like this around it. So you can see how much I'm putting on. After I go all the way around the cone with the Mod Podge, I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. And again, I'm going to stick the cake pop stick into the same piece of styrofoam that I have so it's standing straight up as it dries. So as the glitter tree is drying, I'm going to go ahead and start on the yarn tree. The yarn I'm using is Scrubology Scrub It, and I'm using the color white. Now this yarn would be used if you were making something like a dish sponge. So it has a little bit of stretch to it, as well as almost like a glistening to it. So this will be really pretty on the project. It also comes in several other colors. To get the yarn started on the cone, I put some hot glue down, and then I started at the very bottom. And I'm going to be very careful going around the bottom edge so that I make sure that it's straight. all the way around, and I'll be hot gluing that piece all the way around. As I go up the tree, I won't be using as much hot glue as I am right now, since I'm gluing the entire piece of yarn at the moment. Now, this yarn I didn't mention, but I did get it from Hobby Lobby, and some of the colors are just really pretty to use at Christmas time. I bought a red one as well because I was going to make some red and white candy embellishments. I got the first row of yarn all along the bottom, and now what I'm going to do is just take the yarn and go all the way up in rows to the very top, and I'm going to try to keep the yarn as close together as I can. So I will be using some hot glue here and there as I'm going up the cone to make sure that the yarn stays in place. Now I've gotten to the very top of the cone. And so what I'm going to do is just continue to do the yarn in circles on top of each other until I have the top of the cone completely covered with the yarn. Now my cone looks a little funny because there is a part missing on the side. This is one that I had left over from another project that I was going to do. So yours will not look like this at the top. So mine kind of looks a little lopsided on the top because there's a piece of the styrofoam missing. Okay, so I'm cutting off the yarn and I'm going to finish up the top and tuck this yarn in to the circle that I'm making. I did want to mention that I do have that hot glue protection on my finger. It's made out of silicone and it just goes right on top of your fingertip. And you can find these at your craft store, and they should be with your hot glue guns. Okay, I'm switching back over to the glitter tree, and here is the tree topper. And I took off the silver piece that would normally attach to the tree, and I just basically was able to kind of just unscrew it from the snowflake. And I just used a mechanical pencil to poke a hole in top of the tree. And I'm kind of just figuring out how I want that snowflake to go into the top. And I'm doing my hot glue, and then I'm going to stick the snowflake in and hold that for a minute for the hot glue to dry. So here's what the glitter tree looks like so far with the snowflake on top, and I just love the colors. So I'm going to be using this garland you see here, and this is a garland that you would use again on a mini Christmas tree. I forgot to mention this product at the beginning of the video, but you'll find this type of garland in with the mini Christmas tree stuff at your store. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it at the top, and then I'm just going to start going down the tree very loosely with the garland, and I'll go all the way down to the bottom. And as you can see, I just wrapped the garland around it very loosely all the way to the bottom. And I'm just kind of messing with it right here to make sure I like how it is looking. And then I'm going to turn it over and hot glue the end of the garland to the back of the tree. And then I'll cut off the extra garland. Okay, now I'm going back to the yarn tree, and I'm going to be making a bow for the top of the yarn tree. And here I am using 1.5-inch ribbon with the snowflake pattern on it. I cut it about 9 inches long, and I put some hot glue on the end, and I'm going to glue the two ends together, making a loop. Okay, so now I'm making a tail for the bow, and I originally cut off way too much ribbon for the tail, but at the end, it ended up being an 8-inch piece of ribbon. Okay, so now I'm folding that piece of ribbon, my tail, in half, putting a little glue right in the middle and pressing down to glue the middle together. Now I'm going to dovetail each end of the ribbon, and I'm folding it over, as you can see, and then cutting up as an angle, and that'll give us our pretty dovetail. And I'm doing the same on the other side. And now I'm going to glue the loop on top of the tail, and make sure that the seam that you made on the loop is facing down and that you're putting it right on top of the tail in the middle. So you want the seam right in the middle on top of that tail. And I'm taking a piece of just white ribbon. I think this white ribbon was 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to double knot it. I'm going to put it around it and double knot it in the back of the bow. Then cut off the extra piece of white ribbon that you have hanging there. Be sure not to cut into the knot. And there you go. There's your bow for the top of the tree. And this snowflake ribbon, I did not mention, but it is wired ribbon. Now I'm just fluffing the bow up and getting it to look the way that I want it to. And then I'm going to glue it right on top of the tree. And here are the two trees. I did end up putting a little piece of the garland on top of the bow on the yarn tree, right in the middle of the bow. I have a little piece right there, you can see. I just really loved how these turned out. They were easy to make, they were fun to make, and you can use any colors that you want to on these trees. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up on the video, and if you've not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.